tell, I'm in the kitchen and I'm going to be making something I found online, and I don't really know what to call it, but it's called, I'm going to call it like jelly watermelon, and this is my special recipe that I'm going to show you because I haven't done like a cooking thing in for quite a long time since that smoothie thing I did, you know, mixing all different stuffs up. So I hope you guys like it, and I haven't tried this before, but I thought I might as well give it a go. So I would suggest just getting a small watermelon. I've chopped it in half since I got it from the supermarket, and all you do is you get a sharp knife, and be careful of these, and you want to cut around the edge, and I'm just going to go slightly, not deep yet, until I've made a line around carefully, and so I know where I'm cutting. So I normally split it in half, so then I can get it from that side and the other side, and I'll be back with you as soon as I have got all this watermelon out of the watermelon itself. Right, so now that you can tell that it's all cleaned out, and I've left a little tiny bit of watermelon, as you can see all the red bits, just for flavour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tin foil, or you can use cling film, just to, you know, cover it just in case, you know, it gets dry or anything like that. So what you want is a jug, and this is quite good for measuring, and for a jelly I've got Hartley's lime, because I think it would look good for this watermelon. You can get watermelon flavours, but at the shop there wasn't any, and I wanted to do that as a second best choice. So what you want to do is open it, and don't let it fly everywhere. And then you want to break it up as small as you can. Normally they'll come like that, you know, so you have it in squares. Or you can even use a knife if you prefer to do that. Just look at that. But it's all going to be melted anyway, so it just depends how much you put it on in the microwave for, or the hot water. It just depends how long. So once you've done that, my hands feel like weird. Right, after you've done that, you want to do the hot water, and I'm just going to look on the back, which it will say on the instructions how much you would need to put in there, and it says half a pint of boiling hot water, and then half a pint of cold water. So you want half hot water, half cold water. So I'll be back with the hot water, and I'll show you the steps from whilst the kettle is boiling. I'm just enjoying this lovely watermelon that you get from cutting this watermelon open before you do this process. So it's quite fun to eat it. And right, so I have got the boiling hot water from the kettle, and I'm going to pour in up to half a pint on the jug. And be careful you don't burn yourself with the hot water. So that is about half a pint. I've just put it a little bit over just in case, because obviously I've just put big bits in. You want to get a fork, because a spoon might not go in between, obviously, by melting it, and you just want to keep stirring it until there's no bits in it. And it depends on how little or how big chunks you've put in the jug for it to melt quicker or slower. So that's nearly done. And you don't, if possible, it'll be best just to boil the kettle or get hot water and pour it in there straight away and start mixing it, and don't leave it to cool down, because you know, pouring hot water, it makes it a lot easier to melt. So that's almost done, but it will look gooey and a bit slimy. It legit looks like slime right now, because first of all it's green, and second of all just the texture of it. It's like a beginning of slime. So that is nearly done. I'll get back to you when I've completely melted it. So there you go, guys. That is completely melted, as you can tell. I'm now going to put the cold water in it, and I'll get back to you as soon as I've done right, that. So I've filled it up with cold water, the rest of it. I've put another half a pint in there, so altogether you should just get about a pint. So that's done of how to make that, and I will move on to the next step. So you want to get your empty watermelon that you covered, because we won't need that yet, and I will just empty the last juice. There should be a little bit of juice in there from, you know, when you left it compared to before, because obviously stuff will melt and start to juice. So I'm just going to rinse that off, and I'll be now back. That I've rinsed all the watermelon juice that I could get from it, what I shall do is get the jelly, and I shall pour it in there slowly. And be gentle with it, because otherwise you don't want to pour it anywhere. And that should be enough, depending on what size you get of watermelon, just about enough to fill it up. And I'm also going to use some vodka to put in. I wouldn't say put too much in unless you put more vodka in than water. And I will just swirl it around and fill it to the top until you can't fill any more before it spills over. So after you've done that, you want to get some cling film, which in America they call it saran wrap, and you want to cover it slowly, because we want it to set and not spill anywhere. And be careful with it, because obviously it could drip anywhere. And it's very heavy too, so be very gentle with it. And I'm also going to get this tin foil and place that on there, so there will be no dripping in your refrigerator. So I'm going to leave it in there for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to check on it and see how it's doing, but I'm willing to leave it overnight if that's what I would have to do. So I won't know until it's done, and I will let you know of this recipe of how long you need to put it in the fridge and the refrigerator for, and I'll get back to you with that, and I will show the result when it's done. Right, so I have left this watermelon in overnight, and before you put it in the fridge, I would highly recommend putting some kitchen roll or something underneath, because the jelly does go underneath, and sometimes it can leak depending how strong your watermelon is. So this is the result, and I'm pretty happy with it. So it went well. So what I shall do now, very carefully, and I'll be careful because it's quite slippery, is being careful, and that's the first bit of jelly. So that's what I wanted anyway, because I'm cutting it in half before. Which is quite tough at the bottom. There we go. And you can cut it up into little slices. You've got to be very careful with this, because it's quite slippery. So it's a bit fiddly with everything. So that's what we want, and you can always put the extra jelly that fell out into there if you wanted it, but I was planning to put half and half in it, so you know I could have half of it and cut it easier. So yeah, I'm just going to present it on a plate and see what you guys think. So there you have it. And you can eat it normally, which looks quite cool. And I would advise basically putting less water than or anything like that than I did, just below the limit, because obviously that bit fell out and I did want it like that. But if you want the whole thing to stay, I would highly recommend, you know, less water or less vodka. So that's basically it of how to make that, and I hope you guys like this cooking thing. And let me know in the comments if you want any more cooking or desserts or anything like this for me to do again. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I am Barbie Carla, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.